This one moment quite literally made everyone love this character of Gravity Falls. The season 2 episode Northwest Mansion Mystery is loved by a lot of fans because of how Pacifica gets redeemed after being so rude for like most of the show. I made a video talking about her redemption and made a video talking about the one scene that most of you probably have seen, considering it's my most popular video at the moment. But today, instead of a scene, I wanted to talk about something smaller, even more unique. Just a moment. Pacifica has been very rude and not understanding of the main characters of the show the entire time, all the way up until the Gulf War, which is where the one scene was from. The thing is with that episode and that scene is that yes, that scene redeemed this very hated character for most of the audience and the characters involved, but except for Dipper. That's one thing you can point out in that scene from Gulf War is that Dipper still hates her and still isn't okay with her, even though Mabel is, which is what makes this episode of Northwest Mansion Mystery so interesting, because when Pacifica goes to Dipper for help because of him being this myth-busting guy that even gets put in the newspaper by the GOAT Toby Determined, he even still just says no. He doesn't want to help out at all. He was just sitting in his chair trying to watch a marathon of his favorite show, Ghost Harassers, but then he gets interrupted by Mabel and all her friends because they want to see the opening of the mansion, which has never opened its gates. So they're just watching the door of this famous place, which makes Dipper go, I hate her. I literally hate her. Why are we watching this? And I would say that to her face. And then she comes to the door.
I need your help.
You're the worst.
Which is such a good joke while also restating the fact that like he just hates her, which is something that I love about Gravity Falls. It's just how good the writing of the show is, of how it can do double things all the time. That was set up for the episode of showing that this big event, showing the stakes of the characters and where they're at with like this event and with Pacifica, and then ending it with a joke that is so iconic that people post at randomly. Which I'm not sure if it does as good of a job as the Gulf War with restating how people feel about them, because they're not stating that Mabel is okay with Pacifica as much as they're stating that Dipper still hates Pacifica, which is probably more important to the episode since they're not really hanging out with Pacifica at all. And they have several scenes setting up how famous she is, how popular she is, and even having all these tapestries on the wall while getting Dipper dressed in a suit to show like, oh, look how prestigious the family is, all their successes that they've had, showing how kind of proud she is of her family, even though she still gets belittled a lot, even during the cold open of the episode where she wears lake foam green and then her mom gets pissed off because it's not seafoam green. Instead of a golf competition between Pacifica and Mabel, it's more of like a competition of who can like one up each other with little jokes and jabs throughout the entire episode between Pacifica and Dipper instead.
So what? Are you going to bore him back into the afterlife by reading from this book?
Gotta splash this sucker with some anointed water, and he should be out of your probably fake blonde hair.
What was that about my hair?
But this comes to a head because instead of it being a competition and it going too far with the little Putchians just thinking they need to kill Pacifica for some reason, it's her lying to Dipper, even after he thinks that she's fine and that she's a different person now, because her parents manipulated her into lying to him so that they could get the ghosts out for the family and party to be safe, even though all they needed to do was just let people in, which is really not that hard, but they're just so up their own hoo-ha about this stuff that they can't even let just a couple of people into their party so that a ghost wouldn't turn everybody to wood and then burn them alive, which is what happens after Dipper gets tricked. Because obviously the ghost doesn't think he can convince Dipper anymore. So then he heats up the handle, which lets him just escape from the silver mirror because it crashes on the ground. And the only thing that can stop them is letting somebody in, which is what Dipper does after seeing such a horrifying scene just walking into the place of a guy crawling on the ground towards him, be like, help me!
Help me! Whoa! That is messed up!
And Pacifica is just back there turning her light on and off, clearly upset about something. Not even just because of lying to Dipper, but because of what she found in the room instead. Because she went back in here, assumedly just to hide from everything, because she's very overwhelmed. And then she finds the paintings, the same ones that were in the room where Dipper got dressed up because she needed to fit in here. That Pacifica was perpetrating, just like with the lies to him, and just like all the things, that she's perpetrating the badness of her family lineage. And that's what she finds in this room, is paintings. The paintings of the exact same people from before, but just all the lies and deceit that were behind it, which is like, dang, not only did they repaint it in a good way with the paintings up front, but they painted the bad stuff too. Literally quoted by Pacifica, a painted record of every horrible thing my family has ever done.
A painted record of every horrible thing that my family's ever done.
It's like, why would you? These people are so up their own hoo-ha that is crazy. Like they painted every misdeed. How do you even do that? But something I love about the way the scene starts is that Dipper comes in to try to reach for her just for help, and then she pulls it away before talking about this.
Pacifica?
You want to know why this room was locked up? This is what I found in here.
Which I like that Pacifica trusts Dipper enough to like say these things to. But at this point, she trusts him enough because of how they had a nice day together despite the lies being said.
Lying, cheating, and then there's me.
And then Pacifica says all the things that they've done, lying, cheating, and then talks about herself, saying about how she's no different from all these other Northwests and this entire family lineage, about how she lied to Dipper just because she's too scared to talk back to her parents, which, to be fair, they are doing a Pavlovian response with a bell so that you wouldn't do things, so I'm assuming that there's some form of punishment that she's undertaking. Otherwise, it really doesn't make sense why Belle is making her scared and that's it. But something I like about why she's saying that is that she throws away her earrings. She takes off her earrings and throws it at the parents, showing that she wants to change it, but she's also not sure how.
I lied to you just because I'm too scared to talk back to my stupid parents.
And then, sorry, I'm getting distracted by that picture. Look at that fur coat he's wearing. While it's stepping over, they're so pompous. Look at them. Like, literally look at how pompous these guys are. He literally has like a whole like fur coat on, literally pointing down at a globe that he's stepping on. Like, she has a literal crown on with like golden earrings and a golden like band with little golden like gloves. It's like these people are so weird. Like, even the other paintings of the other people are just all lies and deceit, like doing crossing fingers, like stepping over bodies, and he just has like 3 medals going on and stepping on the globe, pointing down at it. It's like, what is their problem, dude? Literally the only other time we see like globe imagery like this of like someone having like stepping over the globe is with Bill Cipher, the person who literally wants to dominate the entire universe of this world with his hubby Ford. So the fact that pointing at a globe, just like stepping on it, like, yeah, we dominate the world, like, dude, you're just famous in this one town, calm down. Like, it's like they're just so evil.
You were right about me. I am just another link in the world's worst chain.
And then Pacifica throws the words back at Dipper of what he said earlier about just another link in the world's worst chain, which was such bars from Dipper and was also just straight on point, even more than he realized, by having all these photos showing their entire lineage has been this exact thing. If you were Dipper, what would you say in this situation? Your rival that you had this whole time, person that you constantly try to one up, somebody that has lied to you today, eyes full of tears. And do you get mad? Do you finally be like, oh yeah, now I can finally rag on this person?
Pacifica, I'm sorry about what I said earlier.
But no, he apologizes. He apologizes specifically for what he said earlier when he was mad and upset and hurt about being lied to because he finally fully trusted Pacifica. But he realizes now that that doesn't mean that today was nothing. Like, what their fun that they had today was just like a lie, was just another act from Pacifica. It was real. It was real fun they had. It was real when they had a hug and then she paid him to say nothing about it afterwards.
We did it! Can I pay you to pretend that never happened?
And then he says, just because you're your parents' daughter doesn't mean you have to be like them. And it's like, oh.
But just because you're your parents' daughter doesn't mean you have to be like them. It's not too late.
And then also the way she like looks up at him and just like smiles, and why he goes, it's not too late. It's never too late.
It's not too late.
It's just like, it's so sweet, you know? It's just such a nice little scene, which I think is why this really made everyone love Pacifica, because this episode did a really good job of like showing multiple different moments of like, oh, here's her being nice, and Dipper finding her to be like a nicer person than he thought before, fully bonding over this time of being traumatically chased by a ghost that like has heads that literally barf blood. I can't, like, they're just blood, right? That's just allowed. You can just have that happen in a kid show, but that doesn't reverse this entire day, and they're having just fun together. But too late is too late.
It's not too late.
It's too late!
Like, I think it's this really sweet scene, but it is kind of undercut a little bit. Him saying, it's not too late, by the woodsman going, it's too late.
It's too late! You are all wood!
And I like how the woodsman goes, it's too late! You are all wood! It's like, who are you talking to?
You are all wood!
But I think compared to all of those little like nice scenes of them having a good time together, this is a good scene because without this scene, this episode wouldn't be like as big of like being redemption episode for Pacifica, because it admits to her being wrong about things. It admits to her being lied to by her parents, just like how she lied to Dipper, and her feeling bad about it. Her feeling bad about things that's even just out of her control. Like she can't control how controlling her parents are in her life and everything, but she still feels bad about it, that she didn't stand up to them. And then just Dipper comforting her about it is really good and really sweet. And I fully believe is a reason why people just love Pacifica. And just like the last scene we talked about where it had an animation of that car ride scene, there's an animation of this flashlight scene, though it is a lot shorter, which is why it is a moment and not like a scene. Which I think the fact that this is animated as well as the full-on scene just shows how this moment, even though it's not a full scene, even though it's not this big thing, is just still important to people. This reanimation of this moment does take some liberties, just like with the flashbacks being like, oh, here's this, and making the taco like a symbol. It takes Pacifica's flashlight and kind of makes it a symbol where it flashes whites. It goes down 2 times and just shows her. It shows Dipper in the background just standing there in the doorway, and then it flashes back up and then back down. It shows him sitting down with her. It flashes up and back down again. It goes from him just sitting there like listening to her, like looking at her, to being sad, and then it flashes again to him hugging her, which is like, oh my gosh. And then she like just looks down and drops a flashlight looking all defeated and everything, which is like, that's so good. That is so good. I almost wanted to like, that should have happened in the show because like it's such an iconic way for that scene to interpret, just like having the scene flash up and flash down. It's so like nicely artsy and like a very good way to show the emotions, such a simple way. Like this animator is very good at doing this apparently, to where they did it twice, which I think they're not going to do anymore considering these are from like 2015, but they're pretty good. I thought this idea initially to be a kind of a sequel to the one scene, because like, oh, one scene, I have one moment that was also reanimated by this person and is like pretty good, but it's still just like a good moment. Like it has as much merit as that scene does. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this video does good, especially after my big old ranking video. Go watch that big old ranking video if you guys want. I dived into little moments like this, but instead of a full-on moment, it's a line. So if you thought this video was long, go watch my 1 hour and 20-minute video about ranking every first line of Gravity Falls from worst to best. If you like this, I think you'll like that. Just watch whatever's on screen, and I'll see you guys next time. Love ya. That's a weird outro.